What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back. I am so happy to jump into this football season. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about fantasy football. I love some fantasy sports, baseball, basketball, football, it doesn't really matter, but fantasy football is in a league of its own. I do take it very seriously, and I am looking forward to this year being able to share with you all of my thoughts, predictions going forward, maybe help you win your fantasy league. So hopefully you can come to my page each and every week. You can come to my page before the draft and prepare to dominate your league. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the preview, what to look for, some of the draft strategies that we see a lot of times going forward, what we're looking at this year, and then some of the videos that you can expect to come out very shortly that I've already been working on. I cannot wait. I'm going to be having a lot of content coming your way. Again, this is my predictions. It's not ESPN's predictions or whatever you may look at. It's a great time of the year. Can't wait. Thanks for being here and hope you enjoy it. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and also hit the bell. That way you don't miss out on anything going forward. I promise you, I'm going to do my best to give you all the information that I have to destroy your fantasy football league. Okay, so to start off, first tip I want to give you, make sure you know your draft rules, your team rules, your league rules. That's very important when looking into fantasy football. I'm not going to really go all in on that, but make sure you know your rules. That's the first way to win your fantasy football league. This is going to be a hard year for me to win my fantasy football league. I'm the commissioner. One of the best commissioners I've ever had, in my opinion. But my league probably does not agree. We give each other a hard time. That's one of the best things about fantasy football. We have had the same league for about 5 years now, and we still don't have a name for the league. So if you want to drop a comment on a good fantasy football name for a league, feel free to do so. It's a work in progress. We've had a couple, and then right now it's the no-name fantasy football league. So we need your help. But anyways, it's going to be hard for me to win this year because I'm going to be giving all of my thoughts, who I want, my players to watch, players that are going to break out, my sleepers. Everything is going to be on my channel. So we'll see how I do. It's going to be a little bit more competitive, but oh well, it's part of it. Maybe it'll help you. So looking at this year's draft, some of the trends that we see, some what the experts are saying, and I agree with them on this. The first 3 picks are pretty likely to be Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and then Alvin Kamara. And I agree 100%. Those are the best 3 players in fantasy football, and I think that all 3 of them could explode this year again. I don't think that there's a big gap in between those 3, so whoever you want to take first doesn't really matter to me. But those are my top 3 picks. And then after that, it gets a little bit tricky. And wide receivers, I think there's a lot of wide receivers. There's something to know in fantasy football. I think you should definitely take as many running backs as possible early in the draft. And then wide receiver, you can figure out wide receiver later on. Running backs are hard to come by, especially good starting bell cow running backs. They're just hard to find. You can find wide receivers later on in the draft. Although, let me say this. Wide receivers, you're not going to catch that many bust picks in wide receivers at the beginning of the draft. Your top 10 wide receivers that you pick are probably going to be pretty close to the top 10 at the end of the season. Top 10 running backs that we pick, that is a different story. This past year, it was crazy. There's always that sleeper running back. There's always that running back that gets hurt. Then his backup just shines, kind of like James Conner last year with Le'Veon Bell not playing. That kind of won some people some leagues, and it also lost people leagues, that's for sure. So the real big question mark of this year's draft, Antonio Brown just came out today, and he said that his helmet situation, he wasn't wanting to wear the helmet that the league has changed to, and he was going to try to wear his old helmet. That did not go so well with the NFL, and he quote, was going to retire, but he has thought otherwise, and I'm glad. I'm a Raiders fan. We need Antonio Brown. Don't be an idiot. So that question mark's kind of done with. I think his foot, his frostbite, wear shoes when you get into whatever you were getting into. Take care of your feet. That is your money makers. But I think he's going to be fine week 1. So that question mark's kind of gone. The big question mark going into this year's fantasy football draft, Ezekiel Elliott and Melvin Gordon. Very tough situations. Melvin Gordon, he got offered a contract from the San Diego Chargers, and he declined it. Asked for a trade. I don't know if they're going to trade him before the season. Where will he go? Would it be a good fit? I think Melvin Gordon is a top 5 back when he's playing, but it's one of those situations. You don't know if he's going to play. You don't know if he's going to hold out like Le'Veon Bell. It's a tricky situation. And then Ezekiel Elliott. All these running backs sitting out. A side note, the rookie contracts are too long for these running backs. I 100% agree that they should get paid, and they got to take care of their body. But the rookie contracts, they're playing 5 years and a 6-year option. And with that being said, they're still getting paid on that rookie contract that they signed. That's why Melvin Gordon's sitting out. But I don't know. There should be some structure with their contracts that first 3 rounds or whatever, if they're good enough, they got to be able to get a new contract. I get what they're saying. The value in running backs, it just keeps on going down in the NFL. GMs, commissioners, owners, they think that they can get a running back and, pretty much play their same games and be okay without having a star running back and without paying a star running back. They would rather put that money in a wide receiver, quarterback. And, so far, it's definitely seemed to be the case. But with all that being said, at the beginning of the draft, I try to take picks that, I guess, safe picks. And then later on in the draft, that's when I'm willing to take my risk, my sleepers, my potential breakout candidates. That is where you look for upside, in my opinion. And that's how I think that everyone should draft, unless you're in my league. Melvin Gordon and Ezekiel Elliott, unless something crazy happens and unless they come back before the start of the season, I'm staying away from them. It's not worth having them sit out the whole year like Le'Veon Bell did last year. If you do draft those guys, please make sure to get their backups. And even with that being said, we don't even know which backup is really the guy to get. Pollard has been said by Jerry Jones to be able to handle the workload. No one's going to handle the workload like Ezekiel Elliott. He's a star. He's probably the best running back, in my opinion, other than Saquon Barkley in the league. But he's in a better situation with a better offense and a better team. So that's where I'm at with that. Ezekiel Elliott, if he comes back, he's my number 1 running back. So now that you kind of have my feel on that, draft running backs, draft safe at the beginning of the draft, risk it all at the end, look for upside, stay away from Melvin, stay away from Zeke if they are not back before your draft. Another thing, try to stay away from drafting a quarterback in the first couple of rounds. Don't be that guy. I get Patrick Mahomes was absolutely amazing. Won a lot of people their fantasy leagues last year, but quarterbacks are so deep. You only play 1 quarterback a week, unless you're in a super flex type league and you're playing 2 quarterbacks. But in that case, do whatever you want, get an elite quarterback. But other than that, wait around for a quarterback a little bit, unless it's your guy, perfect spot, the value's there. Then, jump into it. But don't draft a quarterback in the first 2 rounds. Same thing with tight end. There's about 3 tight ends that I would say are elite. Kittle being one of those, Ertz, and then Kelsey being the best one, in my opinion. So if you want to jump in on a tight end, I'm not mad about it. I think there is too much value at the beginning of the draft to kind of waste a pick. Running backs go really early. And that's my main reason why I personally am going to try to hold off on drafting a tight end in the first couple rounds. But like I said, if the value is there, if Kelsey drops to me at the end of the 2nd round, I'm going to probably snatch him up and have the best tight end in the league. It's always great to have that position advantage every single week. So, it's just stuff that you have to consider on your draft day. Another thing about knowing your draft rules and all of that, study your draft, prepare for your draft, know who you want. Yes, draft your players, but I think it's always better to draft for value rather than drafting a guy that you necessarily want. If you're going a running back only draft or a wide receiver only draft and not drafting one or the other, I don't know. I get it. And do your strategy. Figure out a strategy, do mock drafts, and figure it out and stick to it. But if the value is there, go ahead and draft the player that you want and draft the player that is there. And I say that, you know, if you get a running back, if you get 2 running backs in a row and then a third round comes around and there's another running back, great value, don't skip him just because you've already drafted your running backs. Get him and figure it out later on in the draft what you're going to do. I think that is the way to go about it in your draft. So with all that being said, I hope that you are looking forward to the fantasy football season like I am. I hope that you will stick around. I hope you'll keep checking in on my page. Like I said, I hope you've subscribed to the channel already. I'm going to give you a ton of fantasy content going forward, and I'm going to try to keep it very different, very original. It's going to be all of my opinions, not ESPN and, you know, all the experts or whatever. I'm an expert in my mind. You can let me know what you think. And let me know down below, who is your #1 pick for this year's fantasy football draft? Some of the videos that you can be looking for in the near future, I'm going to be popping these videos out very quickly. QBs, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, all of my rankings, all of my projections, sleepers, bust, breakout players, they're going to be there for you. My rookie rankings. I'm going to be getting these videos out. I'm going to try to give you as much content as I possibly can, and I hope that you enjoy it. Please interact with me. Let me know what your thoughts are on these videos. If there's a video that you want to see, please let me know. Football is the best time of year. I live in the South, and we love some football here. SEC football is coming as well. College football is going to be crazy. I'm going to have some videos on that very shortly as well. But like I said, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you come back. Peace.